What if I told you that your entire life, this grand, serious, and often rather anxious business you're involved in, is all based on a single fundamental mistake? A magnificent, beautiful, and utterly charming mistake. And what if the secret to it all wasn't to finally solve some great, big, complicated puzzle, but to simply realize there was never a puzzle to begin with? You are at this very moment, probably waiting, aren't you? Your mind is a few steps ahead of you, already solving the next thing. You're listening to me, but a part of you is also composing the letter you need to send later. It's replaying that slightly awkward thing you said yesterday. Or it's anxiously scanning the horizon of your future for the next problem to solve. Your life is being lived in the tense, nervous space between a question and its answer. What should I do with my life? Am I successful enough? Does she love me? Will I be happy? You are like a person, standing in a vast, beautiful, sun-drenched meadow, but you've spent your entire existence staring down at a single complicated knot in the grass, desperately trying to untie it, convinced that everything depends on it. And the most astonishing part, you tied the knot yourself. You are both the prisoner and the jailer, the problem and the frustrated problem solver. And this, you see, this is the great respectable lunacy. We have mistaken the vibrant, breathing, musical reality of life for a schematic diagram. We are so busy reading the map we've drawn that we have forgotten to feel the wind on our skin, or to look at the actual territory. This stunning, mysterious, and utterly problemless present moment. I mean, just look at us. We're all rushing around in a great global panic as if it were absolutely necessary to achieve something beyond ourselves before the final curtain falls. We have this idea, you see, this deeply ingrained story that we're on a journey, a pilgrimage with a serious purpose at the end. We're on a path from point A, which is birth, to point B, which is death. And the entire meaning of the exercise is to get to the destination, success, enlightenment, salvation, or maybe just a comfortable retirement fund. And so we get a good education, to get a good job, to get a good retirement, so we can finally relax someday. But that's a hoax, isn't it? It's a dreadful and yet wonderfully persuasive hoax because we spend our whole lives in the state of perpetual anticipation, leaning into a future that never ever arrives. And we miss the point, the beauty, the sheer astonishing isness of it all. The whole way along, we are like a man reading a novel, so desperately frantic to find out who done it that he never actually enjoys the prose, the character, the texture of the story. He skips the pages, his heart pounding to get to the last line. And then he closes the book and wonders why he feels so empty. The revelation was meaningless because he missed the context that gave it meaning. And we are always looking for something outside of ourselves to come and solve it all for us. A guru, a therapy, a new diet, a new political leader, a new lover. We imagine that the solution to life is like a key that fits a lock, and if we can just find the right key click, the door will swing open and we will be home. But the very search for a solution, you see, it creates the problem itself, is the anxiety of not having the solution that is the problem. It's like trying to get rid of your own shadow. The more frantically you run from it, the more faithfully it follows you. The more you try to grab hold of life, to squeeze it into a shape you prefer to fix it, the more it slips cool and alive right through your clenched fingers. Now, where does this peculiar and persistent feeling come from? This sensation that we are a tiny, fragile captain on a vast, stormy ocean and we've lost the map. It comes from a story we've been telling ourselves for centuries, a story of separation. We have come to believe with a conviction that feels like bedrock, that we are a distinct I, a ghost inside a machine, a solitary consciousness peering out from behind our eyes, trapped in this bag of skin, separate from everything we see. I in here, the world out there. And this I feels vulnerable. It feels like it has arrived in a universe that is at best indifferent and at worst hostile. And so what is the first task of this lonely I? To secure its position, to build walls, to figure it all out. We become the architects of our own cage. We see life as a vast, complex equation that we must solve correctly or face dire consequences. We must solve the problem of what to do for a living, the problem of who to love, the problem of what we are. We turn our own existence into a mathematical examination, and we
live in a state of low-grade perpetual fear that we are about to be found out, that we are going to fail. But consider this. Does a wave arrive at the ocean? Does a leaf apply to the tree? Does a star struggle to be shiny? The question is absurd. The wave is the ocean waving. The leaf is the tree leafing. The star is the universe shining. And you are not a stranger here. You did not come into this world. You came out of it just as an apple comes out of an apple tree. Think of your own birth. Was that an arrival, or was it an unfolding, a manifestation? For 9 months, you were the activity of your mother's body. You were her blood, her breath, her food. You were not a passenger. You were the process. And then at a certain point, the process changed its rhythm. You emerged, but you did not cease to be the universe. You simply began to operate in a new, spectacularly interesting way. You began to breathe air directly. You began to see light with your own eyes, but the air was always there. The light was always there. You didn't enter the universe. You became a new aperture through which the universe could behold itself. This is not just a pretty metaphor. It is the literal, scientific, and mystical truth. Every atom in your body was forged in the heart of a long dead star. The calcium in your bones, the iron in your blood, the carbon that forms the foundation of your very DNA, all of it is stardust. You are not just in the universe. The universe is in you. You are it. So when you set yourself against life, when you see it as a problem to be solved, what are you doing? You are the universe struggling against itself. It is the left hand trying to fight the right hand. It is the ocean wave fearing the water. It is a glorious and ultimately futile game of hide and seek, where you have hidden from yourself so well you've forgotten it's a game. And this is why the pursuit of control so often leads to the feeling of being out of control. This is why the desperate search for security breeds such profound insecurity. You are trying to grasp water. The tighter you close your hand, the less you hold. It is a brilliant divine paradox. The man who holds his breath loses it. The society obsessed with security becomes a tense, breathless, and paranoid competition. You cannot solve the problem of being alive, because being alive is not a problem. It is a reality. A happening, a event. So if life is not a problem, what is it? Well, let us consider another way of being. Let us consider music. When you listen to a piece of music, say a great symphony or a simple folk tune, do you listen only for the final chord? Do you sit there tense and anxious, waiting for the resolution, thinking, when that last note sounds, then the music will have been a success? Of course not. That would be absurd. If that were the case, we could all just listen to final chords and be done with it. No, the point of the music is the journey. It's the unfolding, the melody, the harmony, the dissonance that resolves, the themes that develop and intertwine. The joy is in the listening. Now, not in the future silence. Life is a musical thing. It is a dance, and the point of a dance is not to get to a particular spot on the floor. The point is to dance, to move with the rhythm, to feel the music in your bones, to be the dance fully and completely. But we have forgotten how to dance. We are so anxious. We are standing on the dance floor of existence, looking at our feet, analyzing the steps, worrying if we're doing it right, terrified of looking foolish, and desperately trying to figure out where on the floor we are supposed to end up. We've turned the dance into a navigational problem. We've replaced the feeling of the rhythm with a map, and we're staring at the map, trying to find the X that marks the spot, while the glorious, swinging, intoxicating music plays on all around us, ignored. And when you stop trying to solve the dance, when you finally let go and allow the music to move you, a funny thing happens. The perceived problems, the clumsiness, the self-consciousness, the fear, they often just vanish. They never truly existed. They were phantoms born from the misapprehension that there was a right way to be a wave in the ocean. This is what the great artists and poets and mystics have always tried to tell us. William Blake spoke of cleansing the doors of perception. What are these doors? They are the doors of this moment, the here, the now, and what is clogging them? The frantic problem-solving mind, always chewing on the past, always anxious about the future, always trying to figure it out. When you are truly listening to music, you are not thinking, this is a C major chord. Soon it will resolve to an F minor. You are in the sound. You are lost in it. And in that moment of being lost, you are found. You are completely present. And in that presence, there is no problem. There is only the sublime, vibrating reality of the moment. Now, this leads us to a rather playful and, for some, a rather startling idea. If life is not a serious problem, but more like music or a dance, then what is the universe ultimately up to? What is it doing? I would suggest to you that the universe at its very core is playful. It is a vast, ongoing, creative explosion of energy. And the fundamental game it is playing is the game of hide and seek, of knowing and not knowing, of consciousness and form. Think of it this way. What is the fun of knowing everything? What is the joy of being eternally, statically one thing? It would be boring. A brilliant light with nothing to illuminate is not light at all. So what does the ultimate reality, what some people call God or Brahman or the Tao, do? It plays. It empties itself into everything. It becomes the cosmos. It becomes you and me and the spider and the stone and the galaxy. It voluntarily, joyfully forgets its own total nature for the thrill of the game, for the drama of discovery, for the fun of being a someone instead of an everyone. You are how the universe feels when it looks out through your eyes. You are God playing at being Alan or Sarah or George. You are the infinite pretending to be finite. You are the eternal pretending to be born and to die. And you are taking it so very seriously. A child playing hide and seek will crouch in a cupboard, heart pounding, utterly convinced of their own separateness, utterly lost in the role of the one who is hidden. That is the genius of the game. To believe it for a while, the mystic is simply the one who, while playing the game, suddenly remembers, oh, I'm not just the hider, I'm also the seeker. And this is all a glorious game. This doesn't stop the game. It makes it more wonderful. It adds a layer of delight. All the challenges, the uncertainties, the surprises, the seeming tragedies and comedies, they are not mistakes in a cosmic plan. They are the very substance of the game. They are the plot twists. To truly play, you must embrace this fundamental uncertainty. A game where you know the outcome from the start is no game at all. It is a script, a dead thing. The universe is not a dead script. It is a live improvisational jazz performance, and you are both the musician and the note being played. So when you strive for absolute certainty, when you demand a guaranteed, risk-free, problem-free life, what are you asking for? You are asking for the end of the music. You are asking for the game to be called off. You are asking for a certainty that is, in truth, synonymous with death. Life is risk. Life is change. Life is not knowing. And that is its very thrill. You might say, this is all very well. I understand it intellectually, but I still feel anxious. I still feel like there are problems. So what do I do? How do I let go? And there, you see, is the final and most elegant trap. The moment you ask, how do I let go? You have turned letting go into another problem to be solved. You have created a new task for the anxious ego. Right? I must now achieve the state of non-achievement. I must strive to be effortless. It's like a person trying to fall asleep. The more you try, the more wide awake you become. The great Zen masters understood this trap perfectly. This is why they used those curious riddles, those coins like, what is the sound of one hand clapping? Or, what was your original face before your parents were born? These are not questions designed to be answered by the intellect. They are traps for the intellect. The student will struggle and strive, wrestling with the koan day and night, trying to solve it. He will present his clever answers to the master only to be met with a whack of a stick or a dismissive grunt. He will struggle until he is exhausted, until his mind, the great problem solver, simply gives up. It collapses. It runs into a brick wall at full speed, and in that moment of exhaustion, of utter futility, of not knowing, a space opens up. And through that space, insight dawns, not as a logical answer, but as a realization about the nature of the question itself. The student realizes the question was the brick wall. The problem was the problem. So how does one let go? You don't. It is more like a noticing. It is like when you have been gripping something very tightly for a very long time, a rope, a belief, a grudge, and your hand, quite on its own, simply grows tired. The grip fails. The release happens to you. It is not something you do. It is like swimming. If you are thrashing about in the water trying to grasp it, you will sink, you will panic. But if you relax, if you stop fighting, if you trust the water, you find that it holds you up. The water is life itself. It is the Tao, the flow, the eternal present. The more you relax into it, the more it supports you. The effort is in the thrashing, not in the floating. This is not a passivity. It is a profound kind of activity. It is the activity of a tree growing or a cloud forming. It is well wei, the Chinese principle of action through non-action, of doing without straining. It is the dancer who has become the dance, so that there is no longer a dancer in a dance. There is only the dancing. And where does this dancing, this floating, this unforced living actually happen? It happens only in one place, one time, here and now. The problem-solving mind is a time traveler. It is almost never present. It is a creature of the future, believing that happiness resides there in some tomorrow when the problem is finally solved. I'll be happy when I get the promotion. I'll be happy when I find the right partner. I'll be happy when I lose 10. This is a magnificent deception, a carrot on a stick that we hold in front of our own noses, ensuring we never ever actually taste the carrot that is now. Happiness, peace, reality, they exist only in the present moment. The future is a concept. The past is a memory. They are both thoughts occurring now. The only reality you ever actually experience is this eternal flowing present. So to be present means to bring your attention back from its frantic time traveling and to place it on what is actually happening. Not on the story you are telling yourself about what is happening, but the raw sensation itself. Feel the warmth of this cup in your hand. See the subtle variations of color in the liquid. Smell the aroma. Don't label it tea. Experience the smell itself. Listen to the sound of my voice, not just the words, but the tone, the rhythm, the spaces between the words. Feel the weight of your body in your chair, the air on your skin. These are not problems. This is reality. This is what is actually going on. And when you engage with these simple, ordinary, miraculous details, a funny thing happens. The noisy, problem-solving mind begins to quiet down. It's like a pond of muddy water. If you keep stirring it, it stays cloudy. But if you let it be, if you just leave it alone, the sediment slowly settles and the water becomes clear and you can see all the way to the bottom. We are constantly stirring the water of our own minds with our worries, our plans, our regrets. Wisdom is not about adding a magic chemical to clear the water. Wisdom is simply about letting it settle. It is a subtraction, not an addition. It is the art of getting out of your own way. So, you see, I haven't solved your problem. I haven't given you a 5-step plan to enlightenment. I haven't handed you the key to the lock. And do you know why? Because life isn't a problem to be fixed. The truth is, there was no problem from the start. The meaning of life is simply being alive. It is the experiencing itself. It is the tasting, the feeling, the seeing, the loving, the losing, the dancing. The panic to achieve something beyond ourselves is like the wave panicking to reach the shore. But the wave is already water. The journey is an illusion. The destination is here. You are already what you are seeking to become. You are the dancer and you are the dance. You are the musician and you are the music. You are the universe experiencing itself in a breathtaking, temporary, and utterly unique form. There is no final chord to wait for because the music is eternal. It may change its rhythm, its key, its melody, but it never stops. So what is the point of it all? The point is the pointlessness. The meaning is in the meaninglessness. It is a dance for the sake of dancing, a song for the sake of singing, a game for the fun of playing. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to become anyone. You are already there. You are already it. So relax. Let go. Not as a task, but as a tired hand finally releases its grip. Fall into this moment. Trust the water of life to hold you. And listen. Can you hear it? The music is playing. It has always been playing. So enjoy the dance.